Hello, how's it going? Welcome to Spiffy Gear. I am your host Mark Duffy, a commercial photographer based here in Ireland, and on today's episode I'm going to show you how you can do some product photography using only the new Q6. So as you can see behind me right here, we have it all set up ready to go, so let's not waste any more time and let's see how I actually achieve this product photography with an Xbox controller. Okay, let's quickly just run through the equipment I'm using. So I'm using the Fuji X-T3 with the 56mm f1.2. A little bit overkill, considering I probably could have used the 18-55 kit lens, but I have it mounted to the camera here videoing me, so I can't use it in both scenarios. So we just have to make do. Then when it comes to the lighting, I'm using 3 bicolor Q6s set to daylight, and then I've got 3 RGBs, and we'll play around with some colors on them. So now we'll talk about the bicolors now. What am I using and how am I using it to light this Xbox controller? So you will see I have 2 of the bicolors set above the controller, but they're not actually facing the controller. The Q6s have individual LEDs, and because parts of the controller are quite glossy and have a very reflective surface, they will show up every individual LED across the photo, making it just less of a polished photo. We want this to look as professional as possible. So what I've done is I've mounted an A1 piece of white cardboard. You can get this in any arts and crafts place for about maybe €3-4. Really inexpensive. It's not expensive at all, and I just have it mounted on a clamp and it's just hovering above it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bounce the light up. So I'm going to face the light up into this white card. It's going to then scatter the light across, making it a much bigger light surface, thereby giving us a better reflection on these glossy surfaces. And what I've also done as well is I've separated the lights. So I've got one light facing where it's going to be a key light onto the main body of the controller, and then I've one further back where there's a couple of accents in and around the power button for this controller. So I want to accent them as well. So I've placed the light there. And then the third bicolor is set underneath the controller to give it a bit of depth and have a bit of an uplift. You don't want that overly strong because then it looks a little bit strange. So it's all a case of just balancing the lights and just changing the strength of the lights. If we move then to the lights on either side, I'm going to be switching between different colors, possibly try red in the beginning, but because I have a green background, I'm not too sure about mixing red and green. You must think of your end user, anyone who's colorblind may have an issue with viewing that properly. So I may not settle with the red and green, I may settle with something else. Possibly green and teal could look nice as well. And then behind the backdrop, I'm actually going to light it with a green light as well. So I do have a Q6 in behind this backdrop to emphasize the green, to give it a proper polished green and have that glow appearing behind the controller. The controller is going to look as if it's floating in space. So at the very end, we will take one frame with nothing set up on it, just taking a photo of the background, so then we can Photoshop it in and get rid of any of them mounts and just give it a nice polished finish. The settings I'm going to be using are f13, ISO 400 with a 1/3 second exposure. Now this is because the Q6s are continuous lighting and you need a lot of power in continuous lighting to be able to shoot at 1/200 of a second, but it's okay. I have a controlled environment here. I have no other lights. Obviously I have a light here facing me. We'll turn off all of this when we go to shoot. So that means that we can have any exposure time we want. We can even set it to ISO 80 and go up to maybe 4-second exposure because we set the lights. That's the beauty of continuous lighting. You can see exactly how the finished product is going to be. If you light it with enough lights, you will actually see the end product. So there's going to be very little post-processing needed to be done with this. One thing to keep in mind is at full power, you'll only get an hour's usage of the lights, but if you bring that back down to the minimum power, you get 8 hours. Plug them in, you get infinite. So, and then just control your lighting because you're going to be doing a little longer of exposures. Any other lights in the room will affect your exposure. So just turn off all the lights, make sure it's nice and dark, and just control that area. So there you go, product photography with the brand new Q6. I hope you like this. I hope you got something from it. Be sure to check out their Instagram page. And if you do use any Spiffy gear, be sure to tag them on Instagram because they're always looking for the newest photos on how people are using the gear and to feature on the page. So that will help you out as well. And until the next time, later gators.